Okay, Derbyites, this is our 2016 Emmy Slugfest for Best Drama Guest Actress. This is a really exciting race this year. Last year, Margo Martindale won for the Americans. She is back again. She's drinking more coffee in that coffee shop. Um, and as far as I'm concerned, this category is a slam dunk. Ellen Burstyn is going to win for House of Cards for Chapter 41. I think Zach agrees with me.
Hmm.
But Riley and Rob disagree. And Rob, I'm going to come to you because you have to leave early. Who are you predicting, and why are you not predicting two-time Emmy winner Ellen Burstyn?
Okay, so I understand that. I understand why Ellen Burstyn is such a favorite. I get it, and she's excellent in House of Cards too. So she's got that going for her as well. But if there is any way in this world that people are watching the episodes, and once you've watched Laurie Metcalf and Horace and Pete, how could you possibly not give her the Emmy? I think it is the best performance on any medium of the year, and the buzz when that was released on the internet, I don't even, you can't say aired, but the buzz was pretty strong for her, and I think because of that, she received two other Emmy nominations in other categories. She's back in people's, like, she's back in the front of people's minds. I'm trying to think of, like, what's the best argument I can make, because I can't possibly imagine her not winning this.
So you
Riley will
think
have
that?
more interesting and smart things to say than I have, but
Did you say you think that her performance in Horace and Pete led to her nomination for Getting On and led to her nomination for Big Bang Theory? Is
it
that what
didn't
you're saying?
lead to, but what it did was it put her front it put her in the front of people's minds. They realized, oh, remember Laurie Metcalf, three-time Emmy winner? But she's also in Getting On, and she's also in Big Bang Theory. And next year she'll be maybe in The Americans, drinking more coffee with Margo Martindale, and she could get a nomination for that. But I think she is so damn good in Horace and Pete. I was almost in tears. I just could not believe how effective her performance was, and therefore I cannot possibly, with good conscience, not predict her to win this. And I think there is a possibility, if they're watching the episodes, any of the voters are watching the episodes, this one is a complete and utter shoo-in. That being said, there's four other Emmy winners in this category: Carrie, Preston, Ellen Burstyn, Margo Martindale, Allison, Janney, some real Emmy veterans here. Then you have a newcomer, Molly Parker. She's been on TV for a long time. She's on Deadwood, and she's been in House of Cards, and she's really good on that show, and she's finally been nominated. This category is so exciting. Any of these guys could win. Any of these women, sorry, could win. It could be Carrie Preston winning for The Final Year of the Good Wife. It could be Margo Martindale winning for More of That Coffee. And we're being smart here, because Margo Martindale, her character Claudia is really a great character on The Americans. She had a little bit more to do this season than she did last season.
It was
Probably
hard, hard not to, yeah.
wasn't necessarily what she was putting out in the first two seasons when she wasn't nominated. That being said, okay, I think I've ranted enough. I want to hear from Riley, because he agrees with me, and that's great. I'm very happy about that.
Yeah, it's fun, this category. Like, we've got the last three winners here. We have Margo Martindale, we have Allison, Janney, and Carrie Preston. They're all back. You don't see that too often. I think Rob was actually onto something when he said that Horace and Pete carried Laurie Metcalf in to get 3 nominations this year. I mean, this is her 7th season on The Big Bang Theory. She's been snubbed 6 times, so something changed this year for them to finally notice that she was on the show. But I have her in because Ellen Burstyn was great on House of Cards. You know, we heard she was cast on House of Cards. We thought, oh, you know, I'm sure she'll give an Ellen Burstyn caliber performance on House of Cards, and that's exactly what she did. You know, there's nothing surprising about that. It reminds me of last year when we weren't sure who to predict for drama guest actor. We said, okay, there's Beau Bridges. You know, he's a 3-time Emmy winner in Masters of Sex, which is a show that the Emmys are kind of watching, and he's giving a performance that you'd expect from Beau Bridges. But the Emmys did something more interesting. They said, you know, who's surprising us? And Reggie Cathy is somebody who's kind of newer on the scene, who has voters a bit more excited. And I think Laurie Metcalf is really having a year, not in maybe more mainstream media, but at least within the Television Academy. They really set out to recognize her this year, and I think of her 3 nominations, this is the one that people will most want to rally around.
You guys have me really confused now. Before I go to you, Zach, Amanda, I just want to know, who are you predicting?
Laurie Metcalf. I
I'm
I
out in
had her.
spirit.
I had her in
You have the
person
numbers.
because Rob told me when you see this episode, she's going to win. And then after I watched Ellen Burstyn, I'm like, I'm about to switch. But I waited. And then I saw this episode, and it's like 10 minutes, like just of her face. And she's just, you just can't look away from this performance. And
It's like an acting masterclass.
It really is.
she really was going to town. And Louis C.K. is a very good actor, but he's basically just sitting there and feeding her and letting her do the work. There's no one else in this episode for the most part but those two, and she is incredible. You're just so drawn to listening to this story. It was really amazing.
And Zach, are they convincing you? They're convincing you.
Well, I mean, I have her in second place, so it's not like I'm not convinced that she can win. I think it's what you guys are saying, if they're watching the episodes.
Yeah.
Obviously, enough people watched Horace and Pete to nominate Laurie Metcalf, but I thought that show had a chance of getting more acting nominations than just her. I mean, where's Alan Alda? Where's Jessica Lange? Where's Edie Falco, Steve Buscemi, even Louis C.K.? So that's why I'm a little bit trepidatious in predicting. I do agree with you. It's a magnificent performance, and I'm so glad that she's gotten this Emmy comeback renaissance year. But let's talk about Ellen Burstyn. This is a woman who's won 2 Emmys and an Oscar. She got nominated for 30 Seconds in Mrs. Harris, for God's sake.
Ellen Burstyn rule of support.
You complain about Margo Martindale, my God.
But she's not unbeatable. Kathy Bates beat her 2 years ago.
Right. She's definitely not unbeatable. But she has a fantastic season in this show overall, and her episode, not to spoil anything for anybody who hasn't watched House of Cards, but the way her episode ends is really surprising and dramatic. You know, and she has all this stuff where she's like taking off her wig to reveal that she's.
And you know how much Marcus feels about wig takeoffs. That's all Marcus. That's all he cares about.
A lot of people don't think about that with Viola Davis. I mean, Ellen Burstyn rips off this like headscarf and starts screaming with this bald prosthetic on, and it's amazing. She I could still be talked into her. She would deserve to win this time. That'd be
something.
That'd be in the right direction.
They do love House of Cards. It's the drama series nominee, and the 5 actors are nominated in the guest acting categories. So
8 overall.
8 overall. I mean, the actors love this show, and my head is telling me Ellen Burstyn because it makes a lot of sense this time. She finally actually is deserving. I don't want to kind of be mean to her but she's won before for things that were just because she's Ellen Burstyn, whereas this is like this could have been Schmell and Schmerston, and she still would have been like in the front runner because it's a really good performance. So
you forget what a great actress she is, you know.
Yeah.
Until you see that.
So Riley, if this is the top 2, who's in third?
Margo Martindale. She won last year.
No.
And The Americans is, it's
bigger than ever.
More popular this year. They've got their series nomination.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
I don't think everyone is watching The Americans, but maybe if they got all the people who are, and then all the people who are like, oh, I really should. This is the place where I can throw a vote to them, like they did last year.
Amanda, she could easily win again.
I might put her ahead of Burstyn.
You're right,
I do have her in third too, but for all the reasons that you said, because the show has gained in popularity, and she won last year, very surprisingly. But I mean, she could win again.
You have to do it.
She's better than she was when she won.
Yeah, and The Americans and House of Cards are the only 2 drama series nominated series, and so it makes a lot of sense. And yeah,
and she's still kind of fresh. Like they've only discovered her in the last 5 years.
So then, if the drama series nomination works for Ellen Burstyn, could it then work for Molly Parker as well, or is she? Do you think she's overshadowed by Ellen Burstyn?
Right. I think she would have a much better shot if she was in there alone from her show.
Yeah.
But if you're looking at your ballot and you're a House of Cards fan and you have Ellen Burstyn or Molly Parker, who would not vote for Ellen Burstyn?
I don't think this was the right episode for her. I think the one where she runs off with Ali was the better choice. But I loved her from Deadwood. So if there's
Me
enough
too,
people
yeah.
out
Me
there
too.
that want to just go, she was on Deadwood and now she's nominated finally, you never know.
And Molly
She's
Parker was
Canadian.
so much better in the previous season of House of Cards too. She was
Yes.
excellent in that.
Oh,
She
yeah.
had a lot more to do in season 2 and season 3 than she did this year. But
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm so glad she's nominated.
Speaking of Deadwood, Ian McShane was not even on the ballot for guest actor. That just
I know. I couldn't believe they didn't submit him. That would have
So
been
stupid.
that must have been the deal with Max von Sydow to get him into the show, is that we're only going to submit you for guest actor.
Yeah.
Because honestly, that's the only thing I can think of when you really think about like all the actor who played the Hound. They could have submitted him.
Yeah.
They could have submitted the guy who played Hodor. I would
Why
have
not?
probably picked him.
Why not? Submit the
But-
people who play those little tree alien people in whatever you want to call them.
A whole category of
got
trees.
nominated.
Oh, just
probably, right?
They could have submitted Bella Ramsey. They could have. I mean, there was a lot of people.
Why
They could
not?
best actor. in a
HBO, come
tree.
on. I got to go, but I just want to say Allison Janney wins all the time, so let's not forget that. Okay, she
I
wins
like
all
Allison
the
Janney.
time.
Right. She's great on the show. She won for season 1. She was nominated for season 2, and now season 3. Does anyone think she could win with this episode?
Yeah.
Why?
I feel like they're going to look at her and, bye, Rob.
So, yeah.
They're going to look at Allison Janney and be like, well, I'm voting for her for mom, so I think she's taken care of. I'm going to vote for somebody else. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, we saw that last year with John Hamm too, where they didn't vote for their secondary nominations. They said, one is enough. But I feel like with Allison Janney, just kind of the same thing I said about Ellen Burstyn. We know she's a good actress, and we've seen her give this performance before. And they showed that they moved on last year, so I don't think they're going to go back this year.
This is Laurie Metcalf's first drama nomination on the drama side, so you get a little skeptical, but you forget she's a 3-time Tony nominee, and it's just a masterclass in acting. I mean, to command the screen with 10 minutes, nothing else going around, just black behind you is amazing, and I hope they're watching these episodes.
Mm-hmm. And then there's Carrie Preston, who she's a big Gold Derby fan. We love her too. Final season of The Good Wife. We kind of talked about this for Michael J. Fox. Will this final season help them win, or have the voters kind of moved on from The Good Wife, which we saw they snubbed Baranski, they snubbed Alan Cumming, they snubbed Juliana Margulies. It didn't get in for writing.
Or if they get writing, yeah.
If they get writing, then get directing her series.
Yeah.
So what do we think? Is Carrie Preston out?
I think we've already seen the final season help Carrie Preston, because she's done 6 seasons. She's done 6 seasons of the show, and this is only the 2nd time that she's gotten in. The only other time that she got in, she won. But she's just doing the same shtick that she always does.
Right.
She could. I mean, if it's one of those things where the vote is being split by, say, Ellen Burstyn and Laurie Metcalf, who are clearly the two front runners. If you're talking about who gives the best performance, those are the two for my money. So if we're in a vote splitting situation, then I could see somebody like Carrie Preston winning.
Well, in a vote splitting situation, we could see someone like Molly Parker, because if you don't like House of Cards,
Yeah.
and and people are torn between Laurie Metcalf and Allison Janney and Margo Martindale, Molly Parker is the only one who hasn't won an Emmy in this category. She'll have something to get drunk about that night. Why couldn't it be me? They've already won.
And then when Margo Martindale wins again, we can...
I am a bit concerned that only 8 people have seen Horace and Pete, because it's true. Why isn't Alan Alda there? Like, if they had just gotten 1 episode past Laurie Metcalf, then that's like his submission.
And
Yeah,
they didn't get nominated for, like, didn't they have special multi-camera categories that it could have
He
gotten?
did get editing, yeah, but no cinematography.
Do you think it's the way it was released, like if it was on Netflix or some other kind of on a network, it would have done better than Louis C.K. just dropping it on his website?
Yeah.
I think that's exactly what it is. I mean, they're getting more savvy about things like Netflix or Amazon, but I don't know if they're at that point yet where, it's, okay, I'm going to watch this on Louis C.K.'s website,
I always like to predict who will show up to the Creative Arts. I think 5 of these 6 ladies will show up. I think Preston will be there, Parker, Metcalf, Martindale, Janney. I don't think Ellen Burstyn will show up, but
Right.
we could see, we could actually see a winner accept a trophy unless Ellen Burstyn wins.
Well, Metcalf's had a great year. I mean, you don't score 3 Emmy nominations and because you're unpopular. So I really think she's going to pick up one.
One thing I wonder about though with her is that is I'm thinking about a voter sitting there, and you like Laurie Metcalf, but you see her name on the ballot 3 times. Are enough people going to say, all right, I'm going to vote for her for Horace and Pete? Or is a voter going to say, well, I want to vote for her for getting on, but I'm not going to vote for her in the other categories. I'm going to vote for somebody else. Or is they going to say, well, I want to vote for her in Big Bang Theory, but I'm not going to vote for her in anything else?
So she can vote split herself.
Yeah. Yeah, that is one thing that concerns me about her. I would love to see her win for getting on, but I know that's not.
I would love that. Love that too.
No.
I've been trying to stir that up myself. I can't wait to see her Emmy episode submission. I haven't checked if it's been released yet, but
I don't think it has, but
no one's beating Julia this year. She's slam dunk.
I know, but if there was someone who could beat her, I mean, that Laurie Metcalf is so great in that show. I'm so sad that it's not coming back again.
she has the winning record. She could do it. Julia's never been able to take her down before, so if that holds still, I'm looking forward to Julia's reaction shot. She loses to Laurie Metcalf for the 4th time with a 20-year gap.
The other possibility is that this year, the Emmys, we have a plurality vote, so voters are just taking off one. So maybe last year, if they saw Allison Janney in one category, they put her first. They saw her again, they put her 6th. Whereas this year, that doesn't matter. And we saw at SAG, where they actually vote the way the Emmys are voting now, Idris Elba won both of his nominations. So maybe Laurie Metcalf will have people take her off every single time, and she gets 3 Emmys.
Well, if you really, really like her and you want to see her win, then yeah. I could see her picking up 2. How did Allison Janney do it well, she did it on episodes, but
that's
still.
very true, yeah. I mean, and I'd say Laurie Metcalf's got to be just as popular as Allison Janney amongst actors,
Right.
She's had 3 Emmys.
You don't win 3 and get nominated for another 3 in a.
Right. And also Laurie Metcalf was gone a lot longer between, these big projects, whereas Allison Janney, it feels like, the West Wing was here and the Mom was here. It doesn't really feel like she ever really left us, but Laurie Metcalf may have the welcome back factor.
Right.
I think what Laurie Metcalf has done is she's done things that are very different from what she was known for from Roseanne. I mean, she's getting on and with no hair done, no makeup. Everybody wants to applaud Viola Davis for taking off a wig and taking off her makeup for like 10 seconds. She's done 3 seasons of TV without running a comb through her hair.
I'm playing a character who's really unlikable at times as well. Like just teetering that line between being completely self-absorbed and horrible, but you still feel sympathy for her.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic actress.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
When I saw her get in for comedy actors, I'm like, Niecy Nash is back. There's no way they're nominating her and not. Yeah, I was thrilled.
This entire Slugfest is the Laurie Metcalf.
Love fest.
Yeah, I love it. Wait, do you guys have any final thoughts before we say goodbye? You really convinced me. I'm going to think about this, switching.
I implore them to watch the episodes. At least, if you haven't seen Laurie Metcalf and you've only seen her do comedy, this is worth seeing.
If you're a voter, you must watch every single episode, or you must abstain from voting. That's how I feel.
I agree.
Yeah, this is not the iTunes agreement. You're, just clicking through. Like, I accept. Yes, I watched all of them. No. Mm-hmm. Please watch these episodes, especially. This was incredible.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll talk to you guys next time.